Hey, everybody. We are live with a special edition of an Epic Time update because, as you saw, everybody took off at 6 o'clock or 6 ish, I guess. Everybody took off, and we're going to show a little update of everything. So, we were sitting here at breakfast, chilling out, and decided that it would be kind of cool to show everybody a little bit of what's actually happening out there. So bear with me again as I uh, share this, and I'm all good then. So always something. All right, but we're getting it here. I'm gonna pull this up on the tracker right here, and let me share one thing. I don't know why this is not working very good, but anyhow, we're gonna get this going because I want to show everybody a little bit of this tracker, what's going on here. Because we were sitting here, and as everybody saw, there's two groups going. We have group one heading to Rhode Island, and group two heading to Mississippi. So I think that's going to be kind of fun to watch and see. It's a little bit of a twist to it, but just watching this little bit already, it's pretty crazy what's happening. And I wanted just to show you, to explain a little bit of the Hokahay so you understand it. Because their directions right here for this group one would be to stay on 30. And I don't even have to look at directions to know what happened here. This says stay on 30 with no turns. So people come along and there's a right turn to make, but your directions don't tell you to turn right. It just tells you to stay on 30. And this was the biggest hiccup for me when I started, was the road went right, but my directions never told me to take a right. So as you see here, some people followed this along and they just went straight instead of following 30, because 30 went right. So in their mind, their directions didn't say take a right. So they went straight. And this is what will throw you off, because now they continued on and they're way down here. So somebody is way out of the way because they're still looking for the next turn and they're not paying attention to their miles. So they don't even know something's wrong. We watched, 10 of them?
Yeah.
I got snapshots sitting next to me because we were making a plan here. But we watched 10 people go straight at that intersection. And a few of them had figured it out and made a turn back. But it's pretty crazy how far that is. If you look back here where that group of 5 riders is, that group of 5 riders has to go all the way back to where this group of 19 riders is, and then get back on track. That's the beauty of the Hokahay Motorcycle Challenge, is following those directions and staying in tune with it and staying mentally focused the whole way. Over here, we have another rider that went the wrong way, and they missed the turn as well. And now they're headed back. So this is day one, and rider 844 stayed on 23, just missed the turn, but went 60 miles too far south. And now they got to go 60 miles all the way up. That's 120 miles of riding just to get back to where they should be. So I hope that makes some sense for people and they get to see this. But these are mistakes that a lot of people make when they're not following their directions. They're following a crowd. And this is not the event to follow a crowd. You have to ride your ride. And I mean, I can hear Ken Andrews' voice in my head saying, ride your ride. I can't even imitate his Arkansas accent, but it'd be ride your ride, and that's so true. And it sounds so funny, but it's the truth. You have to ride your ride, and if you don't, you're going to end up like this. And these people down here are still looking for, they're still going the wrong way, still looking for that next turn, but they're not even on the road. So if they're looking, oops, sorry about that. If they're looking for the next turn, it's way up here. These guys are on the next turn. Look like the next turn is, on this highway following along the river. Got so many guys up there. But this group that went straight and missed that, they are literally going to look for the road that never exists. They'll never find it. And if they do, and here's where it comes together too. If you stayed on that road long enough, I guess you could come to this 84, I guess it is. So it's absolutely crazy to think that, day one, what are we in here? 2 hours? 2 hours in, and you got kicked in the gut like that. Like, that's just mentally draining. Rider 844 over here that made the mistakes, that's somebody who knows how to rebound from it. Those low number guys in the 800s, that's somebody been around the block a few times. So, it's all good, but some of these are just gonna learn it. And that's part of the thing is learning it the hard way. And another beauty of the ride was they have the two groups, one going to Rhode Island and one going to Mississippi. They literally had the two groups meet at a roundabout. And that's when I was like, we got to go live. And when I say we, that's when Chase came up with the idea. I'm just taking some credit for it. But because they came into this roundabout, I think it was right here. It was. So this roundabout right here on this Highway 30, both groups were converged right here at the same time. And I thought that's going to be complete chaos. Those people are going to not have a clue. Now you're in a circle with all these other people going the other way. I'm like, oh my God, that is a twist and a half right there. So, here we got Hippie coming up, and he's got to go all the way back up to 30. So he's got to go all the way back up here to this road way up here. So that's just, it's day one, so he can rebound from it and do it. But this is what you got here. And if you want to see who's out in the lead in group, this would be group 1. They're heading north. Guess they're going to Rhode Island, but I don't know how they're getting there. But you can see this road right here. This is a great example. There's Iceman, Chaos, Roadrunner, and Teeter leading the way. But this is the Scenic Ridge Road. If you zoom in on your tracker, and again, if you can't figure out how to get on the tracker, you go to milemonstersinc.com, and there's a link right there. You can hit the tracker, and it'll be right where I am right now. But you can really zoom in and see the kind of roads they're on. I mean, these roads are not, for one, if the road starts with scenic. Yeah, if a road starts with scenic, that's not an interstate. They're not going to be doing, 95 miles an hour. This is technical roads, skilled riding, wear you down. So Teeter, Roadrunner, Chaos, and Iceman, Ridgeway are all out there. So that's one. Let's see. That might be all. Oh, that's catching up because now Iceman's in the lead. He just jumped up 4 spots. So obviously trackers are getting hung up in the woods and everything else. But all of these riders are riding for Mile Monsters. So that's kind of fun.
Hey, and also some of you guys are watching the Iceman tracker like I am, maybe even a little more. If it's anything like last year where a lot of people were watching Iceman's more than me. But he's having tracker issues. So if you see his staying still for like a day, don't freak out, don't panic. If you'd really like, send me a message. I'll shoot you his spot wallet. If you're dying to know where he's at. So, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, try not to panic.
Yeah, and if there are any questions or anything, man, people can hit me up, hit in the comments, tag me in something so I'm sure to see it, and people can ask, and we'll get a we'll get an idea if there is a problem, bike issues or whatever. So it should be good. But here they're coming through. I mean, this is clearly a town. So a group of 7 here. It's hard to get the group like that when there's Dirty Dan, Brewer. Oh, well, I missed that one. But they're so tight here. They're so tight that, that group until they get spread out a little bit is kind of hard. But there's Problem Child. He's right up there. He's from Texas. He's not going to have any problem with this nice, cool weather.
Yeah.
And it is really chilly here, so it's really kind of different to see. But there's the roads. I mean, you really get an idea of how crazy roads these are and how it's instant twisties and scenic byway, slow rolling roads. And that's pretty cool. And I found out, who test rode this. So that was kind of cool. Golem Ken was one of them that went out. I think Dana went with them, and they rode the route. And so I haven't talked to him yet about the what he thought about it going in. So it'll be fun to get him on afterwards and see what he thought. If he had any ideas of how long he thought it would take people, and he's got pretty good experience with this. But you see that how fast we're at 2 hours. 2 hours already, and there's the leaders up there, and here's the trail pack of that group. So it'd be right to here, I think, somewhere in there. So that's how fast they get spread out. And just from the gate heading out, how big of a difference that makes. And here's the intersection right here where people are having all the problems. This one right here, I can guarantee I haven't even seen them, and I guarantee you these directions say 30 to whatever that other road was on the river, and you have to stay on your road. And I fell for that in Texas, my first ride. It said 100 miles of staying on that road, and I thought, oh, that's awesome, man! I get 100 miles of just chill time, take a break, just enjoy the high speeds of a straight Texas road. Yeah, well, that road was straight for 300 miles, but it wasn't Farm Road 1218 for 300. Farm Road 1218 went this way, that way, and it followed a bunch of other roads. So took me a hot minute. I blew right past it and just happened to catch one. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Like, we don't turn off, but that's what they're talking about when they say follow the route. So, and that's a hot intersection right here, right where Rider 1339 is. So I haven't seen it. I don't know what that's like, but it's obviously you have to take a right or the road just goes straight. And if you're not paying attention to road signs, you are going to miss it. And it's an easy one to miss. And I've never been here. I don't have any idea what road this is, but I know it's an easy one to miss because 11 people did. 11 people don't miss, if one guy goes off and does something, you're like, all right, that's a little tricky, and he wasn't paying attention or whatever. But when 11 people do something, it was a much more complicated than what you think. And here's this rider right here. I know what he's thinking right now because that bike is turned off. He's thinking, wait a minute, like I'm past my miles. He's looking at a map. He's doing something right now, trying to figure it out. This group up here of 6 is just riding along, enjoying a nice Sunday afternoon, rip down the countryside. So that's kind of fun, and it's day one. Somebody goes 50 miles out of the way, 100 miles out of the way. I wouldn't help anybody in this situation. I wouldn't care. This is part of the challenge, and this is what makes the challenge so fun, is making the mistakes. It sounds crazy, but when you make a mistake and you have a bunch of suck happen and you got to go back and you got to fix it, that anxiety, anger you get to start with, is just part of the game, and it makes you much more, in tune with the rest of it. As you're rolling along, it's like any one of these riders who makes a big mistake like this, Hippie over here, who poor guy has gone down, 60, 80 miles too far the wrong way, and now he's working his way back up to find his road. Like, he won't make that mistake again. Like, you'll see Hippie run a clean ride for the next two checkpoints. He'll be running strictly on anger. So I feel bad for people, but this is nothing. This is nothing but part of the ride. So it's just fun to see it. Let's bang over to this other group and see who's in the lead of this one. Right here, we have another issue. I'll tell you that, because I don't know what happened here, but I got my wife calling me. I don't know. There we go. But you have a problem over here when you have two sides of the river, and I don't even have to know what the directions are. I know that there's either 8 people wrong or 25 wrong.
Yeah.
But there's not everybody right. So, something's wrong, and somebody made a mistake. And I'm not sure about this one, but just zooming in, you can kind of figure it out. They came across the bridge and they followed 26, whatever that is. So whatever the directions say, I have no idea. But, Doo-Doo realized he took a shit and he's got to turn around because he stopped. And that red means they're stopped. And, you got some other riders here. There's so many riders that made this mistake. Then, it's a hard one. Then a bunch of people did it, because you have English over here and Tomcat. They're on one side of the river, and we have a group over here on the other side of the river. Like that, somebody's wrong. So somebody's wrong, and part of this challenge is following the route. And it really makes it, I don't know, I think it's so fun. I think it's so cool to follow the route. And I just love when people just stick with the paper maps and try to figure this out. Like, you're wrong, stop at a restaurant, and try to figure it out, do whatever. But it's really cool part of it. And people's wives and everybody's always in a hurry to help them, and their husbands are texting them, "Oh, you did something wrong. You got to turn around. Everybody else is over here." Who cares? If this is your husband, your wife, your best friend, your neighbor, somebody you work with, and they're doing it wrong, let them do it wrong. It sounds crazy, but that's how they're going to get the most out of this, and how they're going to find the most out about themselves. And it's just part of it. And it's a part of it that looks much worse to you watching than it is to the riders. Like, okay, you got to go, if you go 100 miles out of your way, you're looking at your poor wife is like, man, she's going 100 miles out of her way. That means she's got to go 100 miles back. That's 200 miles. Okay, that's a tank of gas, maybe a little more. One tank of gas, 200 miles. Now you're talking out of 11,000. At the end of the day, 200 miles. I mean, I'm not the best at navigating. There wasn't a single event I did that I wasn't 300-400 miles more than a bunch of other people. It cost me a lot in 2024. I went the wrong way in Alaska several times, or Canada. I don't know if I was in Canada or Alaska, whatever it was. But in Canada, I had some mishaps, and it cost me big. And they were miles upon miles, hours upon hours, running out of gas. And it all added up. Nobody told me. Thousands of people were watching ride and watching a tracker and knew that I made a mistake. I didn't want anybody to call me. I didn't have my ringer turned on. And at the end of the day, you learn from those things, and you live, you learn, and you move on. So don't ever take anything you're seeing and think you gotta jump out and help somebody figure it out. Figuring it out, especially on day one like this, is all part of the game. So let them make mistakes. It's like having a kid. You got to let them make a mistake or two so they understand how to learn and how to go through life. But that's what makes it fun. But let's get back to the leader of this pack. I don't know if that's the group right there. No, down here a little further. down here. Yas. Is that who it is? Yep. Yas is out there eating up miles. Rider number 1129 is the leader of that group as they're coming into Peoria Heights. That's pretty cool. And right behind him is 11 riders. And the trackers, they're not magic. So.
Hey, if you'd like to, do you want to turn those blue markers off?
What's that?
Do you want to turn those blue bubbles off? Would it be more helpful?
Yeah. Can you?
Yes. I just got a tip.
But how do you do that if they're okay? How do you do it? Because if you zoom in,
my phone's about to die.
I gotta charge it.
Click the upper right corner icon.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna switch this thing.
Yep.
All right.
And then the markers icon.
Group markers.
Yep. There you go.
Oh,
Click that up.
magic.
Thank you, Jen Rollins.
Who did that?
Jen Rollins.
That's awesome. Let's see if this looks better too. Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah. It's like we're there with them.
Yeah. This is really cool. I like that. So whoever just did that, whoever sent that out, Jen
Rollins. Yep.
Jen Rollins, I owe you. So thank you, because it's kind of cool, and I'm kind of new to this. I have a lot of experience doing this with JB there, but not a lot of experience doing what I'm doing. So that's pretty cool. But there's Yas down there, and that's about a mile.
And we're looking at group 2 right now?
Yes. Okay. This is group 2. There's JB. There's some mile monsters in there. I see Loco and Gopher.
Stacks.
Gopher was funny this morning, man. I laughed at him.
I got a video of it.
Yeah, we got a great video of Gopher being Gopher. So that was awesome. I thought I saw Terry in here too. Riding for Hunger Terry.
She was, I think, a little bit further back. Yeah, there she is.
Okay. There we go. There's Terry, another great rider. Great at the charity and a thing. She does a lot of riding for childhood hunger. So that's pretty awesome. So there you see it. You can kind of really see this. I'll go back to the other group here, but this is how far off these. They're committed now.
And no Jug in there.
Yep, Jug is in there.
Jug.
Yeah,
turn around.
Jug is in there. And we just got some. And this happens so easy, and then things just look. They just look, like you're doing it right.
Yeah.
And you don't have magic. They don't have this view we have. Or at least they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So they're not looking at this. And every rider I have anything to do with, man, I try to tell them as much as I could to just do it how it was meant to be, and you'll get the most out of it. Yeah. You might come in 150th place, but that's better if you get something out of it than coming in second, third, fourth, fifth, first, and not getting anything out of it and having to have the outside world guide you through your way. And I have no idea. I don't have the directions. So, like I'm saying over here, this group here is wrong. They could have 200 people wrong on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So I'm saying that, I'm looking at just off the majority, they're on this side of the river, and the other ones are on this side. So somebody's on 29 and somebody's on 26. So whatever the case is,
bad day to have dyslexia.
Yeah. And there's Bradley.
Nice.
Nice. It's like, has anybody turned around yet? That would be the key, that these are right and others are wrong. But I love it. If this is happening, it's actually awesome, because that means the directions are not going to be easy.
Yeah. And
they're going to be a bear, and you're going to earn every mile you get. So if that's the case that's happening, then good for them.
Yeah.
Good for the Hoka. Hey, you should have a lot of mix-ups. You should have so much confusion this way, that way, everything else, that, you don't know what you're doing. And that confusion is awesome. Like, it's an awesome sign of a tough route and a tough, directions, a tough mapping. You got to have all the skills to master this. And, if you're missing one and you make a mistake, it's part of life. You gotta pay for that mistake and make it right. And if that means making it right, you got to go back and eat up a couple 100 miles. You have a long time to get caught back up.
Yeah.
You're not you're not okay. I'm out of it now. You know, I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go home.
Yeah.
You know, it's like big deal.
Day one's got to be the best day to be off track.
Yeah.
You got so much time to make it up. Just don't do it again. Don't keep
Yeah.
doing it. You know. But I mean, like, where's Hippie at? Is he still crazy far?
I think he's. Let's see.
Hopefully, this will be a bad enough one for him that he won't make this mistake again.
Yeah, he's there. He's going back up.
Nice. Okay.
So he's got to go back up
That's a big
to
mistake.
here, to where Phillips is.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
that's a big mistake. But Hippie's experienced rider.
Yeah.
You know, like he's taking this in. Like he'll take it in, and I'm sure right now Hippie's riding along. Like, God damn it! Like, you know, he's pissed off at the world right now, rolling north when he knows that entire crowd is, you know, 200 miles now ahead of him. You know, and he might have been 100 miles behind the leader when he made a mistake. So he might be way behind the leader of that group. But he also knows that, I know this for a fact. I know Hippie, and I know anybody with that lower rider number has got enough experience to know that there'll be part of them that laughs it off too. You know, they'll be like, God dang it. Like, my wife's watching, my guys are watching, my kids, my family, my friends, they're all watching. God dang it. You know, I just went 80 miles out of my way, and, you know, they'll be doing all that stuff, you know, but part of him is going to laugh it off, knowing that over the course of 14 days, you know, he's going to be right back up there. So, you know, you don't, it's not going to be that costly. So, you know, but the faster you catch on to that, you know, the better. And, you know, we got a big group over here that is still wrong. And they're trying to figure it out. There they go.
Oh, there we go. Going back.
Now the pack, and all it takes is one to turn around.
Yeah.
Like once one of them turns around, and they're like, oh no, but they got to go all the way back to where that crosses, you know, and it's just part of the game. Part of the game. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, that's what makes it so great to watch. And I mean, look at this view right now. This is what, 3 hours in?
Yeah.
2.5? 2.5 hours in, and we're already spread out. There's Teeter. And then way down here, we got that group. Like that's a spread.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, that is a big spread. I love some of the names. Say No Feet.
Yeah.
No Feet. Sugar Bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did see. I wonder if the No Feet is the. I saw the girl with the cool bike, the cool trike with the wheelchair on the back.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
she had a wheelchair on the back, and that might have a. Let's see that.
It's got a prosthetic leg on it. Oh
yeah, it has a handicapped like a wheelchair sign when you click on her name.
Oh.
I was hoping her picture would have a thing, but that's pretty cool. I saw her; she was really nice. I didn't know her, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's on the live video this morning. So it's just kind of fun to get an idea of how spread out you get so fast. I mean, here's Preacher down here. There's Michael Nielsen right there. I mean, everybody's moving along. Let's see. And look at this. There, I saw it right there. Jim Harold. Jim Harold, one of the original riders, and is a beast of a rider, and has went through so many things on a ride. I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but, you know, 1 year had suffering cancer and all kinds of problems, and was still out there giving it his all, man. This dude is tough. But you can see this. I mean, this now it's on satellite view.
There's Frankie.
You can kind of get an idea of what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, they're in farm country right now. This Google map might be outdated where it's green instead of brown, like whatever time of year this is, but you can really get an idea. There's Gritty Bell up there. Well, you can see this, like up here, this is in the wooded area. Yeah. These little fields in here almost looks like a golf course right here with those. But, you know, you really see the difference of it. There's a big group of kind of the people leading the way here. There's not that they're not separated by that much. Oh, that's not even leading the way. I just didn't have it put out enough. Look at that. There's Dirty Dan is up here.
Nice. We got Chaos up front too.
Yep. Chaos. I mean, you know, Dirty Dan can ride.
Oh yeah.
He just got a new bike. He almost wasn't even in it.
Oh really?
I talked to him yesterday, and he got a new bike, and so the Pan Ams have a problem with their fuel pumps. So he's been riding Pan Ams for a hot minute. So I asked him, I said, what are you going to do about the fuel pump? Part of his bag is a fuel pump. And it's a pretty good size piece of equipment he's got in there. So he has a fuel pump and a chain. The things that are known problems with a Pan Am. Wow. So I thought that was pretty funny. Dude's like got a fuel pump, and I said, well, if you got to change a fuel pump, I'm not a mechanic, so I have no idea. And he goes, I'll take an hour or so on the side of the road, taking it apart. I was like, that'd be a great video. But this is really cool. I think this is an awesome part of the challenge. Like, to watch, you're literally following them down the road. Like right now, you know, they're looking at a gravel pit. They're at a little business here. I don't have any idea how many miles they're along, but eventually you're going to see them all start looking at gas stations. And they're going to start being like, oh, yeah, maybe we should stop in and catch a gas station, catch whatever. But this is a great way to do it. My hat's off to the Hokahay for having such a awesome idea to put this tracker on. I've got a lot of experience with trackers, and I think this, from a spectator point of view, is hands down the best.
Yeah.
For a spectator, it is spot on. If somebody does something, you know about it 5 minutes later, 3 minutes later, whatever.
Yeah.
So US Fleet Tracker, they really upped their game this year. I haven't never used the trackers that they have right now. They're super small. I mean, they're like this big. Not even. They're like half of this. So, but what you can see right there is the size of the tracker. That's it. Yeah. So, and they have to charge them every couple days, and that's it. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. That's a cool picture right there. I don't know how to screenshot on a computer, but I'll have to take a picture of that. You got your camera? Take a picture? I got a charger if you need it. Oh, here, I got my phone.
Yeah.
I can turn that off. That's a cool picture. These are two of my best friends here riding, and it's fun to see them together. Yeah. Iceman and Teeter.
They're both out front, huh? Is that me in front of them?
I don't think so. I don't know. Every time I think I'm looking at the out front. Yep, yeah, they're out front.
Out front, followed by Roadrunner.
Yeah, and Roadrunner's another great rider. So that's three mile monsters riding the Hokahay and raise money. There's Chaos, another mile monster. Nice. So it's kind of fun to see. You know, these guys are Problem Child. Like Problem Child rode in year one. I know that. He has a great story. A great one of the years after his son passed away, he gave us every rider the ashes to his son, and every rider took him on the ride of must have been 2022, and then every rider put the ashes somewhere on that route. So, and he gave a speech at the rider meeting that year that was very moving, very touching. So that was a great way. I didn't really know him, but it was nice to meet him and hear his story. And you just never know what somebody's story is. And I think it's crazy because somebody does something on here and you think, man, what are they thinking? You never know what's going on inside their head.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know. Something could happen at home, and there are things that you judge a little bit, and then you find out, a year later, 2 years later, 6 months later, whatever the case is, that, man, you're way off base. Like, they were really doing something incredible, and you missed out an opportunity to be there.
And that's something that's not really talked about, I feel like, often enough, is like the psychological aspect. I was doing interviews with some of the mile monsters yesterday, and one of my questions was, what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge this year? And a lot of mile monsters had said, it's going to be, I think it's going to be my sleep, I think it's going to be my nutrition, whatever. And some of them were like, I found God last time. I think my biggest challenge is going to be, like, I'm going to be in my head this whole time. I hadn't really considered how much of the challenge is there's a lot to unpack on the road sometimes. You know, you're on the road for 11,000 miles. You might discover some things about yourself you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, you find out some things. And Blackie, he was not here. They had Flat Blackie here, a pitcher, but like Blackie told us years ago, you know, you're going to find out some things on the road, and you may or may not like them.
Yeah.
And I just was sitting there like a tough club guy who rode all the time, and I'm like, you know, like I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, figured it out.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but I know how to ride, and I know how to ride fast, and I got this and whatever. And 2018 changed me forever.
Yeah.
You know, so you find things on the road, and I think the mental end of this is very, very challenging. I mean, and you find yourself somewhere on this route. You will find yourself, and you will connect with your soul. If that's the best way to put it, man, you will really connect with a part of you didn't know existed, or maybe hadn't really thought about. But when you're out there on your own, like right now, these riders are all together, and you know, it's just they're still on adrenaline and cranking out, and you're following a bunch of people, and you're having a great time, and everything's good. But days from now, you will spend days, and this is on the Eastern Seaboard and down south. You know, they might not have as much alone time as other years, but there's times that these riders won't see another human being for days. Days before you have, or not see them, but not have any interaction with them.
Yeah.
They'll be getting gas and going, you know, and they might get water and walk in, but not really have any interaction with them. And, you know, that's just a lot of time with you, the trouble you're in, and your mind, you know. And when you have that, you know, you'll find that, you know, and somebody in this group is going to have problems. Somebody's going to wreck a bike, you know, blow a bike up. There's just going to be motor problems, transmission problems, tire problems, you know, whatever that is. But there's a million things that can go wrong, and they're going to go wrong. So they're going to go wrong, and things just aren't always great. And that's that, you know, and you'll find yourself. And I hope that people, when they find themselves, they just learn from it and get better. Like this whole group now is moving around, turning around, and I wasn't paying attention to it, but all it takes is one guy to turn around and start going back. And especially if he feels like guilty about letting somebody go the wrong way, he'll be like, you need to do this. You know, the universal sign to turn around is like that way. And it's really hard because you'll meet people going this way and that way. And now you're like, well, who's right? Who's wrong? And, you know, these guys got a ways to go to get back. But you'll see this whole group of people, that'll be long forgotten about later. They're angry right now, but they'll be laughing about it. Let's just dip over to George is, I think his tracker was froze up because he's got a plane for a symbol, and all of a sudden it was just like shooting ahead. Thought that was kind of funny. But here's Hippie. He is almost back from his mistake. So his next turn will be making a left, and then he'll be back on track. And you have a clicker on your bike where you got to keep track of your miles, because these directions will tell you in less than 10 miles, at exactly 40 miles, at more than 17 miles, whatever the case is. And you got to pay attention to those miles, because if they tell you at 40 miles, take a right on County Road 30, even if you don't see the 30, when you hit the 50 miles, you're like, hey, wait, I should have turned at 40. But sometimes you forget to keep track of the mileage, or you didn't reset it. There's just a lot going on. And when that lot is going on, that's all it takes then is one little mishap, and then you pay for it. So there's up here, like Chrisman is up here, and I think his tracker must not be working, because either his tracker's not working or his bike is not working, because he is a beast of a rider, and there's no way that he is behind. He has ridden, I believe, them all, and I've ridden with him, and he is just a no-joke rider. You know, quiet dude. He's the opposite of Riot. but he can ride. Man, he is a good rider. So this is what I was showing yesterday a little bit when you see this, you know, how that tracker looks. If you go back, I did a little video about how to follow the tracker and how to look at it and how to do certain things, but this is what you're looking for and the why. Now they're split up enough that this is the group going south. The other group is going east, but the Hokahe is awesome because yeah, you're going east, but you might go west, you might go south, and you might go north before you get to east. East might be the last thing on your plate, so you just never know. But it's really cool seeing Gopher out there. Just to see his name on a tracker, and especially out front, is just awesome because he's such a fun dude, just a fun guy. And I give him a lot of crap about being old, but man, that dude can ride, and there is not a rider involved with this that's been around longer than a minute that doesn't know that Gopher is a rider, that doesn't know that he is a beast of a rider. And I think that's amazing, man. When I'm Gopher's age, I hope I'm remembered for being a beast.
Yeah.
Not for shit I did when I was 50, but I want to be talked about for the shit I'm doing when I'm 78, or however old he is, 75, 78. Let's see, how old would he be? I think 78. So he's 78 years old, and right now he's in the lead. He's leading that
Leading
group.
Two, huh?
Yeah, he's leading group 2, and you don't have to lead forever, but he can tell everybody. I can take a picture and Gopher on there. So if he comes in 273rd place, I'll be like, but you were leading. There was a time that you were out front. And a lot of that happens at this point. You got to get a picture of yourself out front if you like it, because a lot of it is when you stop for gas. Somebody stops for gas and they get passed by everybody. But that's that. I just want to jump on here, point some things out, give people an understanding. I want people to follow this, get an idea of what's going on, how to look at it, what they're looking at, and more importantly, cheer on your riders and what they're riding for. So all these mile monsters, share that story, share what they're doing, why they're riding. If you have somebody that you're watching, you just happen to be catching my show, and your rider is 1249 Cousin, and he's riding for whatever, battered women, and that's his thing. Like, promote that, share that with your friends. This is a ride that should inspire people to do great things, and whatever that is, help them achieve their goals. So if they're riding for a charity, great. If they're riding for their own well-being, to find peace and harmony in their mind, help them with that. Share their story. Let them enjoy this ride, and don't help them if you can help it. It's fun. It's a fun part of the ride to get back and talk about the crappy mistakes you made and how you made it. This whole group right here is coming back, and they're all going to have a story. This whole group right here, I'm waving my hand like you can see what I'm pointing at. This whole group right here, a lot of those are similar numbers, so they probably might even know each other. Here's somebody's making a fatal mistake.
Oh, that's the second big one.
Yep.
Propane led the group, that whole group.
Yeah.
Off too.
Yeah, doubled down on it, and doubled down, and is that's cutting the route, and that's not going to end well. You can make all the mistakes in the world you want. You could literally leave that route and go and make a mistake and hit the Rocky Mountains and be like, oh shit, that's the Rocky Mountains, and go all the way back to Illinois, as long as you go back to where you went off that route. And if you do that, you're still finishing the thing, and you're still listed as a finisher instead of somebody that signed up and gave it a try. So, and that's part of it. Not everybody finishes, and that's just life. And those are the things that Blackie again taught us. And my first few times was, you might not finish. That doesn't mean you can't ride. Doesn't mean anything other than next time you'll get better at that. So that's awesome. But But anyhow, everybody have a great day. I'll come back on at noon and we'll kind of give you a quick little update and see where we're going. And then I'm going to get driving, but I got to get back. I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. I got to get back to check out of a hotel that I bolted out of at 3:30 in the morning. So I got to get back and do that, but it's all good. But everybody enjoy this. Enjoy the, how cool this is. And it's a Sunday. A lot of people, obviously don't work on Sunday. So they have a lot more time than you might have during the week. So take the time today to kind of get an idea. And right now you can kind of see this whole group right here. They're heading south. This whole group right here is heading over here. But they're going Hokahay style to get there. So they're heading this way. So maybe they're heading over to Minneapolis. Maybe they're heading over to Milwaukee, or maybe they're heading around. I don't think they're going into Canada. I think they didn't tell anybody they're going to Canada. So if they head this way, then they're heading across the Mackinac Bridge in Mackinac City there. And they'll be coming down, and they'll have to be coming this way. But, it's fun to watch. They're going to get over here, and you got a lot of beautiful country here to get to Rhode Island. And then they have to come back. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see. And this second group that Gopher's leading, they're only going to right here. Where are we? They're going to right here. So from there to there, that's only a day ride.
Yeah.
That's not what the Hokahay is going to do. So they're coming south right now, and people think, oh, they're going to Mississippi. Southern Thunder, I don't have the roads pulled up, but it's underneath Memphis, not that far. And I'll guarantee you they're not going to come through St. Louis and straight down to Memphis. On the ride I just did this spring, I went from Memphis straight up to St. Louis and up here somewhere by Springfield and over. It's really easy. To do a straight curvy road, they'd have that done in no time.
Yeah.
That's not how the Hokahay rolls. So I would guess that Gopher shall be taking a right or a left.
Yeah.
Shortly.
Yeah.
I think pretty soon he's going to be heading west or heading east. I don't know what it is. The way they had these guys cross paths already once, maybe they're going to bring those guys up and put them in a collision course again.
Yeah.
I don't know. But whatever they do, it's going to be great to watch it. That's all I can say is how cool it will be to watch it take place, watch everybody do the good, the bad, and the ugly, and see who's making mistakes, see who's getting it right. So there's some people on the wrong side of the river. Yeah, and I don't think the tracker is accurate there, because that plane logo was like way up by himself, and all of a sudden literally flew cross country, and I really doubt he's on a plane.
Yeah.
But that's pretty awesome. So let them go, let them do their thing, and they'll figure it out. There's some mile monsters in there. I see Bradley is a mile monster. Who's he with? Because their bikes are stopped right now. So there's somebody right now. This is what the Hokahay is all about right here. B-Rad and Bradley are stopped. That bike in yellow means he's running but not moving. The red bike means it stopped. They're on the wrong route. They just came to a road. I'll guarantee you they're sitting there trying to figure out what the hell went wrong and where it went wrong and why they can't find the road they're looking for. So they're probably staring at some Harley map, but that's the key right there, is when you see people stop and they're doing this.
Yeah.
And they're just hanging out at an intersection. There's nothing there to see. There's no gas station. There's no nothing. So they're sitting there, and here's a view of it right there.
Yeah.
Nothing. So they're figuring it out, and that's the sign of a Hokahay rider who's doing it right, because they're not getting a text from grandma telling them like, Bradley, you went the wrong way. You got to go back.
Yeah.
The people who are way off and all of a sudden they slam on their brakes and turn around.
Yeah.
Like you're using something to get going the wrong way. And here's another one. Jug is at an intersection. Jug
Yep.
is at an intersection right now with his bike turned off. And as you see, there's no gas station, nothing for him that he would have that bike shut off unless he's taking the time. Now he's getting a map out.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure it out. I can see it right now, that stress level, because you want to be going, shade over the speed limit in that direction.
Yeah.
And now you're not sure if that direction's right. And now somebody else,
It looks like George's with him.
1292 pulled up and their bikes are shut off. So we got another group here sitting there trying to figure out what's going on. But that's the sign of a rider who knows, how to play the game. And it's always at an intersection. Here's another one, Charlie, 923, sitting at an intersection in town because his miles and his turns aren't adding up, and he's like, well, shit, let's just take it right and, buy now. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, but this is all part of the learning curve. I thought Dudu had it figured out that he took a shit, that he shit the route before, but he's still going the other way. But their turn was up here somewhere. I don't even know. It might be way up here. It might have been here.
There.
As you see, it is. They would have crossed river right here. So they were on 26, and what I would guess that they came down 26, and they did the opposite that other group did. They stayed on 26 instead of transferring to 29. That's what we'll hear about. That's the fun part about the after we can hear the stories of that. So maybe Snapshot will catch up to some of these guys that had some foo bars along the way, and they'll be at a checkpoint talking about it, and they'll know that shit. Oh, that plane's facing the other way now. Oh, that could be just the way it is. Wouldn't be red if he was moving.
Yeah.
So, but his tracker was doing a little mishap before. Yeah. See, they're stopped. They're trying to figure it out. They're a couple of monsters. We'll have a patch made or something for a monster mistake.
Yeah.
If you had a monster mistake of over so many miles, we'll have something fun made for them so they can put a sticker on their bike, the monster mistake. So anyhow, that's that. We're gonna get out of here. I'll give you one last view from out here. I just wanted to share it a little bit, give people a little something to look at, hopefully explain it a little bit and make it so a little bit of inside knowledge of how this works helps the families of all these riders, the friends, the neighbors, the coworkers, everybody that's tuning in, give you a little idea of how it works and how you want to look at it and how you want to enjoy it. But I can't stress enough to tell you, just let the riders be. Let them just make mistakes. Let them have problems. Let them be way off. Let them not finish. Failing is sometimes one of the best lessons you can have in life. Is failure. So there's no prize. You come in the top 50, you don't get a new bike, you don't get anything. I don't know, there's really nothing. And all the riders that are riding for the monsters, I told them all the same thing. Nobody gives a shit what place you finish, and nobody's going to remember. Nobody remembers what you did by the next one comes along. They only remember if you do something way off the mark and try to pretend you didn't do it, things like that. But otherwise, it's just that. So anyhow, there's all kinds of get on the right page here. Yeah, exactly. That's sorry, I'm saying exactly. I'm just answering this. But Iceman is in group 1, Loco's in group 2. That's great. So it's really fun to see everybody. I haven't looked at the comments at all until right now. So that's that. And I appreciate it.
I'll tell you what, man, it's real cool to see both groups are being led by monsters right now.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's real cool.
And it's fun. People look at those bikes and they understand what they're riding for. And that's the cool part, it's like, oh, that guy's a monster. A bunch of monsters. What do they do?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we do. We ride for 7 kids that have a terminal disease. 7 kids that will never have the opportunity to do this cool shit these guys are doing. That's why they're riding. That's why I'm sitting here. If it wasn't for the monsters riding for these kids, I'd be sitting in my truck right now driving to Sturgis, just watching a tracker. I know how to read all this and understand it. It's pretty fun. So that's it. Yeah. I was hoping to see me out front, this time too. I like the freedom of this. When you get done, you're exhausted and tired, and you're happy to be done. But I'm also happy not to be doing it. And because when it's done, it's sad and it's happy at the same time. It's so hard to explain because you're so free. Like these guys out in front, they can stop and eat right now. They can get gas. They can go to sleep. They can go fast, go slow, ride hard in the twisties. Don't ride hard in the twisties. Get on the open road, sleep under the stars. It is the most freedom you'll ever experience in your life. There's nothing more free than the 14 days on the Hoke. And when it ends, you're super happy it's over, but you're super sad. And yes, you did hear right. There's 2 different courses, and they're going to 2 different checkpoints, and then they're going back, and then I'm sure they're going back to the opposite checkpoints. I don't know, but that's what it is. Definitely 2 different groups running right now. So right now we got 2 groups. Group 1, Rhode Island. Group 2, heading to Mississippi. How they're getting there, I have no idea. Looks like they're going north. I'm guessing they're going to come across North Michigan. If you live in Mackinac City, get a sign out saying, go Hokahay, go. So it'll be kind of fun. So that's awesome. I hope you guys like this. And, Chase is putting in a lot of work. So it's really, really cool for you to do this and capture these. Hey, I'm back. I had something happen with my laptop, so it's all good. I want to just say goodbye. So I go through all this just so I can. I don't even know how to get this screen done. I had to switch to my phone quick. Something happened with my something happened. So now my thing is really good. There we go. There we go. So anyhow, I'm gonna sign off. At noon, I'll jump back on, give you another update, and then we'll let her go till nighttime. So with that, I'm out of here. Peace.